All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is how it's going to work. Each person is going to randomly be selected to either argue for the card or against the card. The way that's going to be determined is going to be rock, paper, scissors. I'm going to call it right now. The winner argues for the card. The loser argues against the card. It's going to be one turn, no 2 out of 3, no 3 out of 5, none of that nonsense, just one shot for or against. Here we go. Gentlemen, are you ready for rock, paper, scissors?
I want to see my eyes.
Here we go. I'll count it. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Freaking
Anthony is the winner. All right, Anthony, you won. You now have the floor. You have 1 minute to give your opening arguments.
All right. So, gentlemen, we're talking about the Chase Sapphire Reserve here. We're talking about one of the most popular cards of 2024. In fact, it was so popular that it got some of the highest views out of any other card on the market in 2024. And the reason for that was that it valued simplicity, a thing that most people in the last couple of years of credit card YouTube were just enjoying their credit cards, like the Amex Platinum cards and what have you. They were really tired. You know, the community is really tired of dealing with credits like, oh, I got to use my FHR credit, and I got to use my Uber credit, I got to use my Saks credit, a million different credits just to justify the annual fee for a card that basically was only you're paying $700 every year for just for lounge access. But the Sapphire Reserve is a little bit different. It's a card that has a $550 annual fee, and right off the bat, without even thinking about it, you have a $300 travel credit to lower that annual fee by $300. Now, this travel credit is the antithesis of the Platinum card. It's one of the easiest travel credits to use. You quite literally can, buy Disney park tickets, and that will code towards travel, and you can use that $300, towards those Disney park tickets and give your family an amazing vacation. Now, that same cannot be said with Amex even points, Amex credits. Any of those different things cannot get you a life-changing Disney vacation. And on top of that, if you want to talk about other value, actually, you know what? I'll leave it there, and then maybe Calby can rebut the whole changing your life with the travel credit. I mean, you can't argue with how easy it is to use. It has perfect coding. There is nothing either in the United States or abroad that does not code towards travel, towards that credit and their multipliers. Calby, I'd love to hear how you refute that.
Now, my problem
I just want to say before you start, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I got to be honest, I looked at 2 different clocks, so I totally blew the whole minute thing because I started with one clock and then started looking at another. So, Calby, take as much time as you need because I know that was longer than a minute. Go.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, I'm not good at intros, man. So my opponent likes to take the stance of the travel credit, and I do agree that the travel credit is an easy credit to use. However, that annual fee isn't coming down anytime soon. It's $550. You're only getting $300 in credit, plus and then after that, that's still $250 that you have to make up. To make that up, there are other credits on the card that you have to figure out how to use, and I would argue that they are way more difficult than the American Express Platinum Cards credits. The multipliers on the card aren't too special. It's not too interesting. It's kind of just you only get for the shoot. I'm losing it, man. It's so terrible card because you can never earn that money back. And the transfer partners are just, they're neat, but they're never going to add up to that $250. That's my personal opinion. And that's big.
Anthony, I got to say, Calby makes a good point there. Yeah, that $300 credit is probably the easiest travel credit to use, but then there's $250 that necessarily isn't the best. I mean, yeah, you've got the Lyft and whatever, but not everybody uses Lyft. What's your response to that?
Well, when I try to make arguments, I don't try to talk about things from, just my perspective. I like to think about the perspectives of many people, and I like to learn from other people. And one thing I learned was my good friend Jake Mercure and myself, we both live in New York, and we have lived in Washington, D.C., and one thing I did personally when I was in Washington, D.C., and I lived there for many years, I actually used my Lyft Pink membership, which is a $200 value every single year that I would have paid for because I actually really love the Lyft scooters and the Lyft bikes that they have there. And that can get me to and fro to my work every single day at the Waldorf Astoria there. So I have a really good job at the Waldorf Astoria. I actually really enjoy working there, and the Lyft Pink membership has been able to get me from my house to there very cheaply, but not just the $200 membership, because now you have to factor in all of the fees that are cut down on your Lyft rides every single day. So like I factored in maybe saving $5 daily. For a $5 work week, that's $25. For, maybe to call it a month is like $100. So about an extra $1,000 plus every single year of value I'm getting back just from that one simple benefit. And that's without even factoring in my DoorDash benefit. But, my opponent here seems to think that the travel credit doesn't mean anything. I didn't hear the strong arguments whatsoever against it. He just said, oh, it's a great credit, but how are you going to make up the other annual fee? I just said you're getting in plus $800. I don't think you can get that with the Platinum.
Plus $800 from a Lyft Pink?
If you listen to the math, we were saying $25 a week I'm saving from my rides. I did the math. That's $100 every single month, and that's $1,200 every single year. I could have said over $1,000, but I actually was conservative. So I'm just saying.
Okay, so I personally lived in DC. I actually had the Chase Sapphire Reserve while living in DC. Signed up for the Lyft Pink membership. The only thing that I found useful about it was the cancellations. Now, one of the benefits was to get the Lyft bicycles. There was no Lyft bicycles available in DC, so you couldn't use that benefit. When you got the scooters, it would only cover the unlock fee, so you would still have to pay for that scooter price. And I would argue for the Lyft scooters, it was way more than some of the other scooter services. And then you're arguing maybe people do commute every day, use Lyft as like their service, but it's like $20 to go from Arlington to the Waldorf Astoria. Most people in DC, they know if you want a deal, you're going to take the Metro. It's $3 to go each way compared to Lyft. So you're really not saving that much unless you're already using Lyft to begin with, which I don't see that many people actually using.
Well, in that example, you said coming from Arlington. I never said I lived in Arlington. I never said where I live. I actually live not too far from the Waldorf Astoria. I can walk there, but it's
so you could walk.
It would probably take.
So Lyft Pink is useless, Steve.
It would probably take.
That's what you're telling me.
No.
What are you talking?
I'm to walk, but if I get the scooter, which I actually have one right down the block for me, I could take the scooter, very cheap, 20-minute ride, and I'm at work at the Waldorf. It's amazing, So right then and there, I think it's great value. And you haven't really said anything that would discredit that value. You said, actually, I can see that point. You said to me just a second ago, if you guys rewind the tapes, he said that a lot of people would use Lyft Pink, actually. He said just a few people, I guess the people coming from Arlington, maybe they're penny pinchers, they want to save on the Metro, but you did say a lot of people do use Lyft Pink, aka Sapphire Reserve would help all those people.
No, I didn't say that at all. I said not that many people wouldn't use Lyft to commute in DC, not only because the metro system is actually pretty good in DC, it's cheaper, but workplaces will cover the metro cost and give you metro benefits, but they won't give you Lyft benefits, therefore making it almost useless for a lot of city dwellers, which I would argue the Lyft Pink membership is really aiming towards because, especially moving out to the suburbs, it's kind of ridiculous to use ride-sharing apps everywhere unless you're going from like the game to home. That's like one trip per quarter.
Okay, Calby, make a case for another card that you would use in place of the Sapphire Reserve.
The Sapphire Reserve. So it really, I guess it depends on what you're trying to use it for. If you're using it as a travel card, I would say the American Express Platinum card. Now, if you're using it as like a transportation card, like using Lyft, using Ubers, you're mostly commuting within your city, I would say just go with the Bilt card. No annual fee. You get 2x back on multipliers. It's a pretty easy card to use, and you don't have to figure out that $250 loss that you're, after the travel credit. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? You can't make that out with multipliers. You make it up using, I hear a lot of arguments with the transfer partners, that's losing value just to make up the $250. I don't think it's worth it.
Anthony, you appear not to agree with that at all. You made a face when he brought up the Amex Platinum. What's your problem specifically with the Amex Platinum in place of the Reserve?
Well, I mean, if we're using the scenario of living in the metro area, if we're in the downtown city area, I mean, the Platinum card gives you nothing that would benefit towards that other than a $10 or $15 every single month Uber credit that won't even get you enough
You're not listening to me, man. I said if you're commuting within the city, you're going to be using the Bilt card. You're going to be using the Amex Green card. It makes it a little easier.
Host told me to talk about the platinum card. Okay, Calby. So I don't know who you're coming at, but I advise you to sit back in your chair because I'm about to hit you with something else. If we're talking about the Metro, let me ask you a question. The Metro, is that free or do you have to pay for that?
Yeah, you have to pay for it.
Okay. How much is the Metro, you would say? On average?
It depends where you're going. If you're maybe like, commuting into DC, not too far, it's like $3. If you're commuting from further out, like Maryland, Bethesda, it's maybe about $6. If you're going from Virginia, Tyson, Virginia, about $5-6.
And that's both ways?
That's one way.
So call maybe like $10 a day you'd have to be spending?
Yeah.
Okay. So the Chase Sapphire Reserve has one of the most generous travel categories imaginable. We've used this card for many, many years, and no matter where I am, whether it's abroad or in country, whenever we use the Chase Sapphire Reserve, the 3X travel category, it codes towards everything. It could be the smallest little, minute little random things in random towns, like little trains or what have you. It's very, very broad. So that Metro 100% would code towards this 3X category. And if you were going to, use that value back, let's just say we're spending $10 a day, like you just mentioned, that's how much the Metro would be in your example. I mean, that would be, $50 spent. That's $200 every single month on just the Metro. Times 3, that would be about 600 points. Times that by 12, we're at 7,200 points every single year. And little known fact, the Chase Sapphire Reserve has a pretty powerful thing, which superpower, which is if you're going to use these points for the travel portal, you can use those 7,200 points and multiply it by 1.5, giving you about $100 in value, I would say, alone, just from in travel value, just from riding the Metro. Not even considering hotels, flights, any other vacation that you're going to do with the Reserve, not even factoring credits. That's an extra $100 back in your pocket just by riding the Metro every day and using your Sapphire Reserve. So, if you want to talk annual fees, now we're down to $150. So I think that's another way to lower that annual fee. But that's not even factoring my Lyft Pink, which gives me $1,000 in value every year. Okay, so I'm not even factoring that. I mean, I don't think you have a card that's that broad in travel category that's that generous.
Let me ask you this: how often do you use your points in the travel portal?
Okay.
Yeah. Do you use your points in the travel portal, or you transfer them out?
No, every single point that I earn, I use the travel portal.
You use the travel portal 100% of the time.
There's not a single point. There's not a single point I've earned that I've ever transferred out to a transfer partner. Hand to God.
Okay, well, for the average credit card enthusiast who does transfer their points out,
everyone uses the Ford, which not one person. It's just transferred behind. Not one person. It's done other than and this is what you guys are laughing at.
You don't hoard points either, right?
Wait, what? What?
You don't hoard points either, right?
No, every point gets, by the time it's earned, by the time it hits the account, it's being traded, it's being used on the phone.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, for the sake of argument, let's just pretend we're talking to someone who doesn't know what they're doing, and they assume that the best way is to transfer out their points to transfer partners. Which bank, Chase or Amex, has the higher average transfer rate? Would that be Chase or American Express?
Well, that depends if you're traveling internationally, right? No. What do you mean, no?
You said
if you're traveling internationally, you're riding business class, first class, you can easily get 10 cents per point. Plus, also, American Express has, comparative to Chase, I believe, they have a lot more transfer bonuses than Chase.
No. He's specific. Listen to the host next time, Calby. If you want to open, get those AirPods that are here so you can actually hear something. The host said your average, maybe beginner user. That's what he said. The average.
He didn't say that.
He said the person. Okay,
he said average.
Doesn't know anything.
No, that's not what he said. Reggie, what did you say?
Hold the camera back. You 100% said that.
I believe I did. I believe I did say something along the lines of a new person, an average user who doesn't really know what they're doing. But to be fair, I said it in a sarcastic sense.
But he didn't. In a true sense, Calby went to the extreme is that, oh, you get 10 cents for point on business class. Sir, when's the last time you've done 10 cents for point on business class? Because I haven't seen you do it. However, I do know a lot of people who do use the portal. And if we're talking about the average person, Chase 100%. Everybody and their mother who just gets into Chase is transferring out the Hyatt. Everyone. I don't see anybody talking about, oh, I just transferred my Amex points to Hilton. I just transferred my Amex points to this. All these, most people getting started the game, it's Chase, baby. I don't think better transfer partners for them, for the average.
Well, let me ask you this. If you agree that the card costs $550, that's a tough pill to swallow. So if you're going to be beginner transferring, like you're new to the credit card game, why would you go straight into the $550? You would go straight for like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, right? So why would you go with the Chase Sapphire Reserve and then not know how to transfer out your points?
Well, hold on. Is this debate about or for a beginner or not? Or is this that the Reserve is a good or not card? Because, now I'm confused.
Well, I'm arguing that there's not too many beginners that would start off with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, so why does it matter?
I don't think that's relevant to this conversation.
What they say in court, what is it called? Do you remember? When it's like, no. When they say to the judge, they're like, shoot. I don't know.
Objection? Yeah.
No, it's the other term. Yeah, something's irrelevant. You want to toss it out. I don't know can't think of the term right now. Whatever.
Well, we should be using that because it is irrelevant to the conversation, unfortunately. We're not talking about beginner. We're just talking about the Sapphire Reserve. Is it a good card or not? That's it. For or against. I mean, we're not talking about if it's for a beginner or if it's an advanced user, right?
Yeah, but that's what you were saying, though. You were saying that on average for a beginner user that they get more value out of Hyatt, but if you're going to be paying these high deal fee cards, I would assume that you would probably be more familiar with the travel game and then maybe could get, your 10 cents per point with American Express.
No. The point was the host said for the average beginner user, what would be a better program, Amex or Chase? My point was Chase is a better beginner program.
All right. You've had a chance to make your opening arguments. You've had a chance to go back and forth. Calby, Anthony got to make his opening arguments first. You get to close. Go ahead.
Well, even though they have a lot of easy credits to use, the Chase Sapphire Reserve, you do have to somehow make up that $250 before you're coming out ahead. You do get lounge access with the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but you have access to those Sapphire lounges, which every single Priority Pass user gets access to at least once per year, creating overcrowding. And not every single one of the Sapphire Reserve lounges have priority towards the Reserve users. The DoorDash benefits are just complicated to use. Sometimes it's $5, sometimes it's $10, sometimes it's on specific things. It's just a mess. When you go on to the equivalent of the Chase Sapphire Reserve's FHR, a lot of their hotels are actually more expensive than the FHR program or any other program like MasterCard or the Visa. There's also the multipliers on the card isn't too great, which makes earning back that $250 just a lot more harder.
Okay, Anthony, your closing rebuttal.
So I would say thank you to the person who is debating me at the moment. He just made some great points. Like, yes, that's true. It does have Nexus. I think that's amazing. Sorry, that wasn't in the actual argument there. So he did mention that we have lounge access. He did also mention that there's going to be overcrowding, but there are way more people with an Amex Platinum card going to lounges, and actually probably VentureX now at this point as well, than people with the Sapphire Reserve going to Sapphire lounges. I would wager that. So I don't think overcrowding is an issue, especially since Priority Pass is just once per year, which I don't think most people are using that. Anyway, you do get lounge access. I think it's a very simplistic card. If you're going to use all of your points like I am when I'm traveling and I'm walking around in DC and using my Lyft Pink membership and earning all these points on the Metro, I'm using that towards the portal. I'm getting 1.5 cents per point. A lot of people are Like, can I get 1 cent per point? Can I get 10 cents per point? It's too difficult. Most people just want simplicity in life. And that's why a lot of these content creators are canceling a lot of the cards for simplicity. Sapphire Reserve gives you that. Travel credit's the most broad. You can use that in the most different places. And as my opening argument, you can use that $300 travel credit towards Disney to have a great vacation with your family. Who doesn't?
All right, gentlemen. Well, I think you both made compelling arguments. Ladies and gentlemen, there you go. For the most part, Anthony arguing in favor. Main points were simplicity and the $300 travel credit. Calby arguing against. Basically, yes, you do get the $300 travel credit, but outside of that, there's not really much else there. You're not guaranteed to be able to use Lyft. It's kind of a pain. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. If you like this, let us know. Give us a like. Make sure you check out Anthony's page. Make sure you check out Calby's page. And if this is something that you find interesting, maybe you want to see it live, also let us know that behind. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This was a blast. I'd like to see a little bit more trash talk next time. There was a whole lot of trash talk before I hit the record button, and then it kind of died out. A little bit disappointed in that. To be fair, to be honest, you both let me down a little bit in that sense. But I expect as soon as I hit end recording for it to pick back up again. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. God bless. Bye.